again, everybody. It's Dirk coming to you on what is my Friday afternoon. An absolutely gorgeous day here in the greater Chicagoland, Northern Illinois area. Cruising right now on Interstate 88, heading east. Got a full reefer trailer, gonna hit 2 stores. And once the trailer is empty, I'm going to go park and have a couple days off. So that's a good thing. And I was just cruising along here and just kind of pondering all of the adjustments that I've made since starting this whole endeavor into trucking, and kind of taking stock of all these changes, because it is a very radical change to a quote-unquote normal lifestyle. Trucking is a very, very unique thing. Very few jobs, I can't even think of any, other than perhaps like an airline pilot or a flight crew, but even that is quite a bit different. But it's a very different thing, and you'll hear a lot of people say that trucking isn't just a job or a career, it's a lifestyle, and I've heard many YouTube truckers make that statement, and now that I've been doing it for a bit, I've come to find out that really is a true statement. It is definitely a huge shift in what is considered normal, and for some people that can be really difficult, because no matter how much you prepare or how much you think you've prepared, until you're actually there and doing it, you really don't know. I mean, you kind of know intellectually if you educate yourself. Like, I watched hours upon hours upon hours of YouTube videos of truck drivers, and so from a conceptual kind of intellectual standpoint, yes, I understood, and yes, I learned a whole lot about what's involved, and what it's like to live out of a truck and to do the job, and that's extremely helpful. It was very, very helpful. It continues to be extremely helpful to me, but not until I was assigned my truck and parking it for the first time at night in a strange place and realizing that, okay, well, this is my bedroom now and I'm sleeping here. It's once you're in it, it's a very different thing. And I'm not going to lie to you. I had a pretty good experience transitioning into it, but I did have, and I can think of 2 times. There were on 2 occasions where I, for lack of a better term, kind of hit the wall. And on both of those occasions, I came super close to saying, you know what, screw this. I don't need this. I'm gonna walk. And and that was a really weird place to be, because on the one hand, I really want to do this, and I've wanted to do this for a very long time. And I had also heard from many drivers that I watched that you just got to get over that hurdle, and then everything becomes a little bit easier and becomes a little bit more normal to you, and you kind of get into a rhythm and a groove, and everything everything turns out okay. But you should prepare for the shit hitting the fan. Just your nerves get shot. And, so I was already aware that is a very high likelihood of happening. But then all of a sudden, there I am, and I'm in it, and I'm feeling like, I just cannot keep doing this. And, what the hell? And, I was in a real bad state. But on both occasions, I stuck it out. Truthfully, I got stubborn. I'm German in my background and my heritage, and if there's one thing Germans are known for, actually Germans are known for a whole lot of things, but one of the big things Germans are known for is being very determined and very stubborn. And oh boy, do I have that in spades. So I'm kind of the type of person that once I set my mind to something, come hell or high water, I'm going to give it a super good shot. I'm going to give it everything I got before I ever consider throwing in a towel. And frankly, that's what got me through. Just plain old stubborn. I'm not going to let this defeat me. Was essentially what I focused on, and it worked. And I'm very glad it worked, because after having gotten past that, I'm actually at the point now where I'm really starting to enjoy this job. It's not as stressful to me. I'm being super vigilant as far as not getting complacent, because I don't ever want to make that mistake where I'm thinking, everything's great, I can go a little faster, or I can take this turn a little quicker, or whatever. I don't ever want to get to that place where I think all of a sudden, okay, now I'm a super trucker and I'm invincible, because that's when you get into really, really bad situations, and I'd like to think I'm too smart for that. So, but that being said, vigilance, staying high, and I'm continuing to stay as focused as I ever was. It is getting easier, and it is becoming more normal to me, and I'm very happy about that. As a matter of fact, I've actually gotten to the point where I'm actually sleeping better in the truck than I do at home. And that to me is remarkable, because I am kind of a homebody, and I suppose what's happened is that, and I had the hope that this might be the case, because I know myself well enough to know that I am kind of a homebody. I like to have my home base. And I remember thinking, as I was pondering getting into this, that wow, I'm going to be out and I'm going to be all over the place and I'm not going to be home and all of that. But what I started realizing is that, you make the truck your home. And, the difference is now that your home is mobile. But your home base is that truck, and that's your sanctuary, and that's your safety net, or whatever you want to call it. That's your safe spot, your truck. It's your home. And that's really what's happening. I'm very comfortable living in this truck. I have everything I need, and I kind of get a little bit of a chuckle out of the fact that, like on HGTV and these home channels, for a long time, I don't know if it's still the case, but for a while there was this huge trend of it was really in to get these little tiny homes. So people were looking to either buy or to build these little micro homes, little tiny homes, real small carbon footprint, live very simply and basically, and not have so much stuff, and live in one of these small homes. And people were all excited about it. It was all this big rage, and that's essentially what I've done. I this truck is like a tiny home, and I have everything I need to eat. I have everything I need to keep myself healthy, keep myself clean, whatever. I've got it all here in the truck, and it's really kind of a cool feeling. It's like my home comes with me. My home is with me everywhere I go. So so that's been a really cool thing. And you get used to the fact that you start your clock, your DOT clock, and all of us drivers were regulated by a federal hours of service, and those federal hours of service, those are set in stone. You can't manipulate them. There'll be old days of having multiple log books and all of that stuff. That's long over. Everything is electronic now, and everything is by the second, and you cannot cheat the system, and which actually is a good thing. You'll have a lot of the old-time drivers will scream and yell about how it sucks and you can't make money and all of that stuff. Well, there probably is something to that. However, I always look at things, with safety being a priority, and it certainly has done huge improvements as far as keeping the roads safer, because you just cannot cheat these logs anymore. And that said, those hours of service, once you start your clock, there's multiple clocks, and I'm not going to get into all of that. And any drivers watching this, obviously they know it. But one of the really important clocks is what they call a 14-hour clock. And that 14-hour clock is...
There is currently light traffic on your route.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Light traffic is good. Sorry. But that 14-hour clock, once you trigger that clock, once you go on duty, that 14-hour clock is ticking. And you cannot pause it, you cannot turn it off, you cannot go off duty and stop that clock. That clock continues to run. And you have 14 hours from the time that clock starts to the time your 14 hours is finished. That is your work day. Whether you're driving, whether you're on duty and not driving, whatever. You cannot exceed those 14 hours. After 14 hours, you need to have a 10-hour break. And so, I'm finding myself using that entire 14-hour clock every day I work. And that takes some getting used to, because those are long days. The saving grace to that, though, is that, since you're doing so much driving, and, when you're not driving, you're maneuvering facilities, you're on a dock, you're dealing with the shippers and receivers, so it's one of those jobs where you're constantly focusing on something. You're always focused on the task at hand. And it has such a diversity to it. You're never doing the exact same thing twice. Every day is a different situation. Same things, generally speaking, you're doing the same things, but the experience is different every single time, because you're dealing with different people and all of that. So it's kind of interesting to me that even though you're burning a 14-hour day, it goes by pretty quick, and it doesn't seem like, like if I had to be at a desk working on an Excel spreadsheet in a cubicle for 14 hours, I mean, shoot me now. I'd rather be dead than do that. So it really is interesting in that respect that, the job itself is interesting enough to me to where that 14 hours is no big deal. And I actually kind of enjoy what I'm doing. So that's been kind of a cool adjustment. Other adjustments, gosh, there's so many of them. One of it might be TMI, but what the hell. One of the things that I'm sure people think about, and maybe some people don't think about it, and then once it's mentioned, they go, "Oh shit, yeah, what about that?" And that is going to the bathroom. Boy, that's a whole different world when you drive a truck. For us men, we have it made. The ladies, boy, I feel for them, because when you gotta go, when you gotta pee, us guys, I mean, let's face it, we can do that anywhere. And most truck drivers, male truck drivers, their little secret that they don't really talk about that much is that you keep a bottle on the truck. And you realize pretty quickly, or at least I realized pretty quickly going into it, if you gotta pee, and here you gotta go, and you gotta get off the highway, you gotta go find some place to fit a gigantic semi-truck, which means you're going to a truck stop or something like that, or a rest area if there is one. By the time you find a space and you park the truck and you blah 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 blah, and now you gotta walk all the way into the place, you gotta find the restaurant. By the time you're doing all that, you might as well just pull off somewhere safe, and just pull the brakes real quick and pee in a bottle. And there's some drivers that don't even stop; they just pee while they're driving. I'm not that good, so I have not reached that point yet. But again, maybe it's TMI, but it's an interesting lifestyle change, and it's just a reality. I mean, we all have to go. So, and when you're spending hours upon hours in a truck, when you're 20 years old and you've got you're able to hold a bladder for hours upon hours, hey, that's great. But when you're getting older, I'm 55 now, and in the male reality is that once you're in your 40s, that prostate starts getting larger, and there's a big difference between an enlarged prostate and your prostate getting larger. But I won't. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to get into all that. But it's a natural phase of aging for men that your prostate gets larger, and there's more involved in it, but essentially what it all boils down to is that the older we guys get, the more you got to pee, or the more frequently you got to go. So those days of holding it for 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever, yeah, that ain't happening. So anyway, I can't believe I'm talking about this, but hey, it's reality. So I got a this windshield washer fluid bottle, gallon jug thing, and that's it. That's what I use. And day after day, I probably go number one into that thing more than I do into a bathroom. And what I do is I just put a little shot of Pine Sol in there, and that's a kind of a natural disinfectant. And so now every time I gotta pee, I smell a pine forest. It's great. And end of the day, I just find somewhere safe to dump it out, and put some more Pine Sol in there, a little water, swirl it around, wash it out, and good to go. And so, there's other guys that will, use whatever, single use whatever, and then, throw them anywhere they feel like, which is really disgusting. So I don't want to do that. So the method I figured out is less harmful to the environment, and less of a nasty surprise for other people that happen upon your piss bomb that you've thrown out the window. But I digress. Anyway, so that's an adjustment. Eating is an adjustment. You don't have a lot of time, and so my diet has changed drastically to what I was doing before. And now I just I have bananas and apples, and I have a lot of nuts, granola bars, all that kind of stuff. And so all day long as I'm driving, I'm just every now and then I'm grabbing something and just kind of munching away. And I try to stay healthy. I try to stay away from all of the garbage truck stop stuff. And I just pick on fruits and nuts and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not doing a lot of physical work, so I don't have this huge appetite. And at the end of the day, I'll make myself a turkey breast sandwich or something like that. And that's it. I don't eat a whole lot, and I don't need to. And I also do like some smoothies, vegetable and fruit smoothies. And all of that stuff is stuff I can keep pretty easily in the truck. So, and I go to Walmart stores every single day, so I'm lucky that way that I can keep fresh stuff. I don't have to buy a huge amount because I'm at a Walmart store every single day. So if I need to get another smoothie, a bottle of, I can just run into the store as they're offloading me, which is terrific. So yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to get blather on and on and on and on. I just am doing the drive in here from Sterling back into the suburb of Chicago to do these deliveries, and just thought I'd switch the camera on and take you along and shoot the shit a little bit, and just kind of talk about the changes in lifestyle, and there's many more, but for now I think that's sufficient, and I guess I'll check out here. And I'm sorry about all that. I hope that isn't like overwhelming in the audio, but there's a cabinet behind me that on certain road surfaces, it just smacks around. So if you're hearing that, that's what it is. It's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's kind of annoying, but you know, it stops and then starts and stops and starts, whatever. I tune it out. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll be back to check in soon. So until then, see ya.